Welcome to the Butt Fixer Podcast, brought to you by Shane Gentry and John Van Olden. Sit back, listen up, and listen good. You're going to hear it all right because we've already done it all wrong. We're going to help you meet your goals and fix your butts. Welcome to the Butt Fixer Podcast. Dennis 2.0.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Can we make it happen one more time?
If not, we have 3.0.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get it. We're gonna figure it out, man. We're not gonna get our ass kicked by an internet connection.
Yeah. Well, it's up and running.
Okay
so what's happening? Go for it, Shane.
Yeah.
You hit it.
So, Dennis, we've got a little bit of background on you already, but we can't wait to hear your story from pro ball overseas to businessman to entrepreneur to. I can't wait to hear the trajectory from. Was it? And let me get it right. Was it Slovenia? Is that right?
Slovakia.
Slovenia.
Nope, yeah, Slovenia.
See, look at that.
Right, yeah.
Look at that. Look at what hosts did their homework and which one didn't.
Yeah. Well, Slovenia, Slovakia. Yeah, it's like tomato.
It's all the same.
Right.
It's a few miles apart, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man,
We're
well,
so
first
small
off,
that like if you drive too fast, you can actually miss it.
Yeah. Like what's it like growing up somewhere that small? I mean, I grew up in a small town, but not a small country. You know what I mean? I guess it's probably similar.
It's a whole different story, right? Like, you know, like the main thing is like you're very limited with, let's say the network, right? So obviously, like if you're in the States, for example, right, like you might be growing up in let's say in one area, but then obviously you're part of the bigger movement, right?
Sure.
But here, you know, like entire country has just as much as, you know, some countries has like the capital city, you know what I mean? Like, for example, London has 8 million people, but in Slovenia, we're only 2, right? So, opportunities, you know, doesn't come like every day, right? And more or less, you have to make it happen, right? So, if anything, you learn very young age, like, you know, like if you want to make it, you got to put the work in, right? Like you have to go outside and you have to network and you have to maybe, you know, like, well, some people say like, you know, if in a bigger countries, you say you have to kiss 10 frogs in order to make it. One, okay? Well, I'll say for my case and my country, it will be probably 100, and then you maybe land on one that is solid, right? So,
right. So what is it? Is it just because it's small? I guess doesn't mean like. Is it what's the financial status there? I mean, is it just because it's small doesn't necessarily mean it has to be impoverished or anything? But I mean, can you be successful there without having a large network? Like, can you be successful in a space that small?
Well, I'll say like if you have the right product or service, right, then I think you can be successful in any area, any market, anywhere, almost.
Good
right?
point.
I have friends even from Africa, right, that they made it. You know what I mean? And you know they kind of create their wealth, right? But again, like when you go on a smaller market, the importance of having the right product and right product fit comes to play even more and more aggressively, you know? So, you know, then yes, of course, you know, like yes, you can make it, let's say financially, you can make it as a business, but I would say that there's a limitation of, you know, there's only so much and so much people that you can sell to certain things. Not only that is like, in one way it's good and in a lot of ways it's bad, but everybody knows each other. It's a small country, right? So, you know, it's like, it's going to be a lot of times in business where you will meet the same people and you cannot like sell the same stuff to same people like 10 times. You can do it maybe 5-6 times, you know, but then not 10-15, right? So sooner or later you end up with this market cap, right, which will then force you to go outside of, you know, our country. But I would say that like as Slovenia, as small we are, I mean, we are kind of entrepreneurial mindset, and there are opportunities, and there are influential peoples, and and the good thing about it is that because we're so small, we can you have access to, let's say, some of the biggest names in some of the areas, right?
Right.
So in a way,
Well,
that's
go ahead, John.
How long does it take to drive from one end of the country to another the long way?
Yeah. 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
2.5 hours.
The most.
And it's 2 million people?
It's 2 million people, I will say, yeah. Like,
all right. Any
take,
idea, as a dog trainer, any idea what the dog ownership statistics are there? Like here in the U.S., it's 4 in 10. 4 in 10 households.
4 in 10.
So they say.
Okay.
Have a dog.
I don't think we have that much. But maybe we do. I don't know. But I don't have those statistics. But we can look it up probably.
4 in 10.
Who would you say? What's the most successful business in Slovenia? Like, is there a company like here if it's IBM or if it's I mean, some of those shit that ain't even here either. That's just maybe.
The most successful one is, maybe you've heard of it. It's like a Krapovic or Pipistrel. Right, so Krapovic is an exhaust, like sports exhaust for vehicles, like motorcycles or Formula One, for example. But then Pipistrel, for example, is aviation, right? So he's,
So Slovenia, one of the biggest companies is an exhaust company, like the tailpipe capital of the world.
One off, right? Like we also have like one entrepreneur, his name is Jot Pečečnik, for example. He's in a casino, for example, right? And he owns a lot of real estate, a lot of businesses. But funny enough, also he had to go outside of the country to make it and then come back. So, we have a lot of political movement, in a country where, if you're connected with the right people, it will be a lot easier. But otherwise, it will be easier to go outside, succeed, and come back. Gotcha. So that was also my case and many others.
Yeah, that's a great way to start into that because so you play. Like, how did you get into playing ball? Because that's taking you all over the world, right?
It did, yeah. But again, kissing 100 frogs before you land on a team that will kind of give you a shot, right? So for me, I would say it was a bittersweet because in a way it was presented as an opportunity, but in fact was a kind of a scam. But I still went for it when I was 16 and I went on a tour across Europe, right? Now what I say, like it was presented as an opportunity, but it was actually a scam, is like, well, they promised like a promised land, but they didn't deliver on it, right? But what they did was like they actually did take us on a tour. So we played in about 5 different countries within a week. So we were traveling and playing. It was really exhausting, but we were playing professional or semi-professional teams. And through that, I got a lot of exposure because like every single game, I was like in the numbers, like 36 plus, right, per game.
Right.
So essentially, they noticed. So that was my first way in and my ticket in, where I was offered the first professional contract, which was on Poland. And then at that point, obviously, then things kind of kick off a little bit, right?
What was the name of the Polish team, and what city?
Oh, Jesus Christ! You got me now. That's like 20 years ago,
like
even more.
The
so
Krakow
doesn't even exist
crackheads
anymore.
or something.
No, it wasn't. It's the reason why I don't remember is because those Polish names are complicated in a way, and the other thing is like we didn't make it through the season, which essentially means like they let us go in the middle of the season because of the financial situation. So
damn,
we didn't make it through.
Some of those names can be complicated.
You're not worried about making the playoffs. You're just worried about getting paid.
Exactly. Like
making it to the end of the season. Wow.
But we didn't, right? So even the team didn't, right? They went for bankruptcy even before that. And they, for a short period of time, they had like just younger generations, that they kind of deal with. So they, they didn't have senior team anymore, no more professional team. So it was a short and brief of
That's crazy.
having a professional insight a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that was the first experience. Like I said, there is no easy way out, right? Like it's
with
really, really
playing
hard
ball
work,
though. Was playing ball something that you were passionate about and good at, or was that like the thing that you grabbed on first that felt like could get you out of where you were?
I would say that it was the second one. So it's more like
Okay.
I kind of had it as a vehicle. So I know it is like I can play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I never treated like, in a way that, well, that's just given to me because nobody in my family played basketball, right? So I'm the first one, the only one, even up until this day.
Right.
My son now, which is 3.5, like he's now showing some signs that like he's following in my footsteps. But there was no other before me. So I would say that I took that as an opportunity where I can launch myself, outside of our borders. So I took it as a vehicle, basically, at that point when I figured it out. Okay, I can play. I'm quite okay. Well, let's see if this can take me outside. And in that way, I can get more freedom. I can get more opportunities. And if not, I'll come back and I'll just do like any other. Right. So,
right.
There was no downside to it, basically.
Yeah.
What was plan B going to be? If, all right, I can't make it.
Oh,
I can't make it playing basketball. I'm going to go work in the tailpipe factory.
Actually, like, honestly, there was no plan B.
Yeah.
So there was no plan B. The plan B would have been if plan A wouldn't work. The plan B would be, well, yeah, I mean, go back to school and work in a local factory, literally.
Wow.
Well, you might have just answered my next question. And like the people that don't leave Slovenia, like what is the most common occupation for somebody that lifer, born there, stays there, makes a living there?
Well, it's different, right? Like you need to understand we are small, but we are really like divided into areas, right? So if you go to the capital city, for example, there's, I will say in our capacity, there's more opportunities, right? Within economics and financial sector and all the others, right? And tech, for example, right? As you move towards our section, right, where it's more towards Maribor, which is smaller, then, it kind of decrease, right? So it really depends, but I wouldn't say like, that we're in a poor country with no opportunities, because that's not the case. And I'll be lying.
Right,
nowadays, like, we need to also understand that, what we're talking now took place like 25 years ago, right? 25 years ago, right? So at that point, circumstances were a lot different, right? Now, today, for example, in this day and age, there's a lot of companies coming up. There's a lot more opportunities. We went more digital and online, and that opens the door, right? While 25 years ago, there was none of that, like literally, right? Like sending an email was a challenge, literally. And if you came from the poor background like I did, and I had no computer, well, I had to go to the local library, sign up a form, so I got a date and a time when I can use it, right? To go and send an email and then get another day to come back and check email. You know what I mean? If I got anything back.
That's wild.
So, and there was no phone, nothing, right? So we're talking about that era back then, right? It was a lot different. Today, I mean, it's a whole different story because it's, it's more in front of our face, right? Anybody can launch an online store on Shopify for literally $1, you know what I mean? And off he goes. But that was nothing there,
What today, I want to get back into the basketball thing because that's interesting, but now I'm asking, like, what today is the, is it like the haves and have-nots? I'm looking online right now. The average annual salary in Slovenia in 3 years ago was 28,000 euros. Average annual salary. But that doesn't mean, shit, because in Portugal, it's not that much higher, but you still have people making a fucking shitload of money. And so they're like the average, and that really brings the average down. So there's a lot of people in Portugal probably making far less than the average salary if there are people out there making, 250, 300,000 euros, right? So like What's a 2-bedroom apartment in the city cost out there?
To purchase or to rent?
To rent.
Oh, to rent. Well, now in the past 2 years, it did increase a whole lot, like by 300% actually. So before you were able to get it, I don't know, 250, 300, 350 a month. Now,
Euros. Yeah, wow.
Yes, euros. Now,
was that in dollars?
It depends on the area, but you can get like
$400 a month.
It could be easily over $1,000 easily.
All right, under 1,500.
Under
how much is it? How much is a pint of beer in the bar? What's the beer index in Slovenia?
Yes, we're trying to figure out if we want to come and rent a place and drink for a week.
I might move out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not that expensive, but I'm not much of a drinker, so not my cup of tea.
I'm not asking how much 50 beers are. I'm like, how much is one pint of beer?
Yeah, but like I don't like even when I go out, right? I don't drink beer, so really, it's not something I know. I would say probably around 4 or 5 euros, something around there.
5 euros is a lot of money, man. If the apartments are two 1,500, 5 euros.
There, I would say, but we can look it up and see.
I know. I might check the beer index in Slovenia and see what it is. I'll tell you, my experience is Portugal in the city. Yeah, you're going to pay $5, €5 for a pint of beer, but right outside the city, you're paying $2. You go to the cafe, you sit outside, it's €2 a beer. So that's kind of.
So I just look it up, and it's $4.20.
Wow, that's insane.
Great
Slovenia inflation.
It's $4.20. Yeah. So I was really close, even though I don't drink it at all. I don't drink beer at all. If I drink anything, I drink scotch, I drink whiskey, but I don't. I don't drink beer at all.
Got it. Well, now I know. Slovenia off the list.
Now you know.
$4.50 for a beer.
If the beer to rent ratio is off, we can't go.
Can't go.
No, it's quite expensive nowadays. It is really.
Yeah.
But before COVID, for example, it was a lot cheaper, right? As I said, like the rents went up 200-300%. Even if you want to purchase, the same house that today will cost you 300K, 3 years ago, it was literally 140, 120, right?
All right.
So it went crazy, right? It's changed a lot, and that also kind of divide the nation between whether you have it or you don't, right? It kind of
like everywhere else.
So whether you're rich or you're poor, like this middle class is kind of phasing out a little bit.
Welcome to the entire planet. The middle class is phasing out.
Yeah. Like it's literally like across the planet. But as I said, like when I now see around me, right, like people struggles quite a lot, right? Like losing job, finding another job is really a challenge right now, right?
Yeah,
like 2 years ago, when after COVID, it was crazy. Like last year, you were able to find a job real quickly, right?
Yeah.
The demand of new power, right, in the companies was insane, right? But a year later, now the same people are laid off.
So going to the economics again, how long was your playing career? How many years professional?
Well,
basketball?
Altogether 20, professionally 14, 15.
15 years professional. You played all over Europe, and you were saying, because like Shane was saying, we were doing 2.0 here because we had a technical glitch the last time we recorded. But you were saying that over there, the teams, you get a salary from the team, but also your package usually included like you got a place to stay, and they paid you like a lot of living expenses like food, and that kind of thing, right?
Food,
a car, all that stuff. Yeah. So the
car is like very rare, but I was fortunate enough to have it almost everywhere I went.
Nice.
But it all depends, right? Like from the country to country.
If you
I
leave the
was
team,
really
you leave the
surprised
you
with the
leave.
smaller countries where you would say that, there's no basketball, no professional basketball. Like they went over and beyond to kind of keep you and make you happy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So one of those places, for example, is Ireland. Like I played a season in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
There's no real basketball there, if you ask me. Like, there's no real basketball, but there's still real money,
Right.
involved.
All right.
Because they don't bring imports and professional players like 5 at a team. They bring one, and they will make everything possible in their power to make you happy, right? So I would say those small countries are basically the treasures, right, for the players. Like not professionally in terms of like seeing this as an opportunity to kind of move to the bigger teams, right? That's not the case, right? But if you want to
Right.
make some, let's say, decent living and save some money up, right? It
Mm.
all depends of, what your bigger goal is. But those small countries really, really surprise me. Like, and I play quite a lot of those. I've been in Denmark, I've been Iceland, Ireland, UK even. UK is not small, but it's not popular, in terms of basketball, right? So
Okay.
they have football, right? Soccer. So those countries, I was really, really surprised, and they go over and beyond just to do everything for their players, right?
All right.
So that was good.
That's cool. So you what was your favorite country to live in and play in? Or is that Ireland?
No.
No.
It's not.
I love
I would say maybe
Iceland.
Iceland was a nice place. It's not a place where I would say, okay, I would, move my family and live there.
Mm-hmm.
It is a place where, I would probably buy an apartment and spend some time there.
All right.
Because it is like, the capital city, Reykjavik, for example, it has a really good, for example, nightlife.
I heard
a lot of opportunities within, but only if you are in the right circles, right? If you're not,
Right.
then you're on the other side of the fence, which is like, looking from the outside in.
Right.
That's
I know
the
people.
downside of maybe Iceland because, there's not a lot of, economics. There's not a lot of industry there. There's just like fish industry, more or less.
Yeah.
But that was a nice place, basically, that's maybe surprising. But apart from that,
I had a funny
Qatar
experience
would be the
there.
next one.
What's that?
Qatar would be the next one.
Okay.
Guitar.
Yeah,
that's right. We talked about that. But
when
Iceland is a. Oh, go ahead.
When I was in Iceland, man, we were on a cruise, and it was just one of our stops. We were only in there for a couple, 2-3 days, but we all got tattoos there, and we had a tattoo shop open up like on a Sunday morning at 8:00, so we could get in, get out before the cruise ship left. And so we're talking with the dude, and he's like fascinated about the United States. He wants to be a cowboy. He wants to, he's got cowboy hats. He wants to go to Texas and all this shit. Meanwhile, he's like this big around, probably weighs about 80 pounds. I don't think he's seen sunlight in 40 years. And but so we get our tattoos, we get done, and I go to shake the dude's hand, and he kind of brushes me off a little bit, and I was like, okay, well, man, maybe he didn't see me. Kind of left me hanging, And then we're talking a little bit, getting ready to leave, and I reach out to do that again, and he's like, what is this? What is that? What is that? And I was like, I was trying to shake your fucking hand. He's like, oh, we don't do that here. And I was like, well, what do you do? And he comes up and he gives me a big hug. He says, we hug. I was like, I'm fucking moving to Iceland, man. That shit was awesome, dude. It made my day.
It is, yeah.
I like what everybody tells me.
Iceland, for example, right? Like you wouldn't know it, right? But the Iceland is really, really nice place. It doesn't have a lot going on in terms of economics and all the stuff, but people there are incredible. So if I have to pick, I would say Iceland would be one, and then Qatar would be number 2, and then I don't know. Then it doesn't matter.
When you talk about a place where everybody knows everybody, that's Iceland. I know people. I haven't been, but I know people that have gone to Reykjavik as a tourist, and they say, "Oh, I was there for a week." And by the end of the week, they knew like half the people in the country. And when their football team went deep in, like, I don't know if it was the Euro, not the World Cup, and they were doing all these profiles on the players because it was a big deal that the Iceland football team was like even advanced in the Euro, and they're saying, yeah, this guy the striker is like actually he's a roofer, and this guy's a fisherman, and these guys are playing on the national team,
for example, right? So
a good
they have
handball.
a very good handball team.
Yeah,
which they're very proud of.
Handball in Europe, people don't know, is not hitting the ball on the wall like we think of here, or like you play in prison. Not that I've been to prison, but it's handball over there. I think
I think you and me, Dennis, we need to interview John.
I think it's five. I think handball, European handball. What is it? 5-on-5. 5-on-5, 6-on-6,
yeah.
6-on-6 with
handball,
a goalie.
like
it's this big. It's a little ball like this, and they throw it, and you pass it, and you run with it. And when they shoot, it's some kind of technique where you literally have to spin your body around to get velocity on the ball to get the ball in there. So like every shot these guys take is jump in the air, spin around, and fling it like you're using this centrifugal force of your body spinning around to get some velocity on the ball.
It's very physical sport. So that's why they do that, because it's very physical. But right there in the middle, right where there's the defense and stuff, it's really physical. The guys are really bump up after the game.
It's like a combo of rugby and football, aka soccer, and there's a goalie, and it's a trip, man. High scoring game. Usually the games are something in the 20s, right? 20s or 30s.
Yeah, between 20 and 30.
Yeah, it's a trip.
It's
good.
Fun to watch. I mean, it's a nice sport. But the Iceland is really good at it. Like Slovenia has quite a good teams. Also, they play Euro Cup as well.
That's cool.
I think we were in the final 4 of the Euro Cup, something like that, a few years back. So in handball,
European handball, not prison handball.
Well, you know what the worst thing about being a professional athlete in Iceland is?
What?
You're 3 feet taller than everybody.
There's only 6 groupies.
No, there's a lot more. But the bad thing is, like, you cannot move anywhere without anyone knowing you, right? So, you don't go out and you get wasted or whatever you do, right? Like everybody will know. You'll be in the newspaper. You'll be everywhere.
Right.
So I play in a small town where they have like 4,000 or 5,000 people, and all of them were at the game. So everybody knew who I am, who the team is. Like, we were also undefeated. We were champions, actually. So they knew us, right? They kind of knew us, all of us. So when you went out for a drink, it's not a normal drink, right? It's it's a lot different.
One of my
it's like a constant meet and greet.
My favorite,
exactly.
One of my favorite
like
sayings.
You just like, if you go out and, even for lunch and stuff, it's constantly meet and greet, sign autographs, doing the pictures and all that stuff, right?
One of my favorite sayings.
Night falls, right? When the night falls and you try to go out for drinks and try to have fun, right? It's all the same. So, you don't have those.
My favorite saying is "Don't shit in your own backyard," and it sounds like Iceland is don't shit anywhere.
Don't shit in Iceland.
Don't shit in Iceland.
Everybody will know.
Exactly.
That's probably the downside of it. Like, if you're a pro, athlete there, like whether it's basketball or any other sport that they have, that would be the downside.
Do they have like Iceland Idol, like American Idol? They must have the same. They must have.
Not that I know of. Not that I know, but I'm pretty sure they have something to it, because every country has it. Like Slovenia has it. So
So the top person is like.
I'm pretty sure they have it as well.
Yeah, interesting, man.
Quite
Iceland.
Sure.
So we got to get Iceland. We got to get an Icelander on here. You got any hookups with any of your old homie? Pro athletes in Iceland.
I have a lot of them, so we can put them on.
I can get my little translucent tattoo artist on.
For sure. Get it all on
there. You hold him up to the light, you can see right through that summit. You're like, good God, dude, go outside.
That's funny.
Get dirty, do something.
No. They're
So
very
what?
interesting. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
so
What'd you
how'd
end
you
up?
get?
You?
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead. Good. No,
What'd
you're good.
What'd you end up doing? So after your 15 years of pro basketball, you parlayed that into like now you're an entrepreneur, business. You were saying that has always been a good way for you to make connections of
Yeah.
people who gave you some opportunities to get your own business going, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as I said like earlier, right? It's like the basketball for me was a vehicle, right? So even transmitting through, going from being a professional basketball player to then tech space at the beginning and then being an entrepreneur, was in fact because I use it as a vehicle, right? Because I leverage the network that I built over the years and the friendships I built, and I used that as a leverage to kind of went into the space, right? So I started off in tech, right? I was, a senior manager. I was leading teams, tech teams, groups, etc. And then from that, kind of grew into other opportunities, right? Like I was in tech, I was in iGaming, right? So I was with Sportradar, I was with all these big companies. So this is where you can see, how innovation works, right? How cross-functional teams works, how they organize day-to-day activities, etc., right? And out of that, you also see like what other opportunities are out there, right? Especially with a company like Sportradar, they inquire 2-3 companies a year, so you can see all those startups and you can get familiar with it, and work with them, see how that is, right? Because that's a whole nother different beast. But for me, it was more like that motivates me, right? So, I've seen opportunity in that, and that was something that I wanted to sooner rather than later, like experience, right? So again,
Was the Sportradar is a local, I mean, a national company in Slovenia, or is that from somewhere else in the world?
you don't know what Sportradar is?
No, I don't know it.
Oh
Do
my
you,
God.
Shane? I'm writing it down. I'm going to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. This is a public traded company on NASDAQ.
Okay.
So,
And they do
it has
e-gaming.
offices in the States.
Okay.
It has offices across the world, like 33 of them actually in 33 different countries. I think it's
So
maybe more now.
they're not based in Slovenia.
Not well. We have an office here. Yeah, there is an office here, which is a big office, like 4 floors. Like kind of Google thing, kind of stuff.
Wow.
But originally they're out of Switzerland, right? They started there, moved to Austria, and then spread across the world, and now they're everywhere, literally. So they're one of the biggest players in the iGaming industry, right? In terms of sports betting and providing data and stuff like that. So they're really
betting.
big.
These guys.
Sports betting, yeah.
This company, is that right?
Yeah,
you see it on your screen? Yep, Sportradar.
I can, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Understand.
So they have all together with the freelancers, they probably have between 10 and 15,000 employees now. So it's quite big.
Wow.
But as I said, this is, it's a big bubble, right? Where you can learn, grow, also, work on your skills and stuff like that. It's a great opportunity, that I'll be forever grateful because I've learned a lot there. I had a good mentor, and he helped me, navigate through ups and downs that you have as an early, manager, let's say, and he helped me overcome all of those barriers and people skills and how to talk to people and, how to behave and how to leverage something on someone and stuff like that, all the psychology stuff.
Was that your first gig out of basketball? Was with Sportradar?
No. Before that, I was 3 years with their competitor. So their competitor is Stats Perform, which is based in UK. They have even more employees. But they also work in a space of iGaming, providing live data, live stats. So basically, same industry, they're competitors. So I worked in a company that was actually acquired by them. So it was called Running Ball. I was there for 3 years, and I was based in Austria.
Okay.
And so that was my first out of professional basketball. That was my first tech
All
touch.
right.
Let's put it that way.
Did you have a tech background before you started playing?
No. Oh, hell no.
No. So
No,
you picked it up after your
I picked
sports
it up
career
along the way, yeah. Because along the way, because I worked in the tech space entire time, basically after getting out of, professional basketball. Now, there's one or two things that will happen if you don't pick it up, right? One is like, they transfer you to something else, or you transfer yourself, or you get fired, right? But also within the years of being involved, you just kind of pick it up. Like if you're, keen to know things and learn things and, just want to, expand your knowledge and stuff like that, then, you're going to pick it up regardless. Like it's going to come natural, right? That what happened for me, for example, right? And that's why, like, I stayed even after Sportradar and all the companies, I stayed in the tech space, right? Like I consult tech companies now on various different things. But I'm very much involved in the tech space because this is where I feel like I belong now. But that doesn't mean that when it comes to investing and stuff like that, that we stay within the tech space. Like we are also going across other industries, obviously.
Right.
We go where the money is.
You have your own now you have your own company, is that right?
Yes, I have several of them, yeah. I have from basketball agency to the tech and all the way up to owning like a beauty salon, right? Which is really outside of anything that I was in touch before. So
you got to stay pretty.
It goes on the various things now, obviously. So nowadays, like I'm more of an operation guy, basically just making sure, we're putting out the fires and making sure we have the right people in the right places. So this all keeps running, right? Because then there's the other side of it where there's investments and there's consulting. And this is where I'm really involved in more day to day, right? So really have to make sure that the other side is working regardless whether I'm there or not.
Yeah, but there's a whole, so tell me with your companies, what are you selling besides hair salon, besides haircuts or whatever it is? Yeah. What do you sell?
It's more like,
your companies,
like eyelashes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But more on an aggressive side, like, so we have an agency, for example, like let's start it off at the beginning. So there's the basketball agency that is based in the States, right? It's called Dreamcatch Management. It's my partner, Dico, he's running it. So we have that. So we work together. We own now, actually, since last week, we actually own a basketball team now. So that's new. Since we talked last time, this is new.
Okay.
So
this is a United States team.
No, it's a Slovenian team.
A Slovenian team. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a Slovenian team.
What's the name of the team?
That's new since last time we spoke. When we
what's the name of your team in Slovenia?
Vikings.
The Vikings. All right.
The Vikings. Yeah. But it's going to transfer to another name probably very soon.
Okay.
Maybe not this season, but next season, pretty sure. So the next season, I think the final name that we will have is DC Maribor. So it's kind of out of the Dreamcatch Management company, right? So it's a D. So it's the capitals, right? Dreamcatch Management DC M, right? So it's kind of a DC Maribor, right?
All right. Awesome.
So we launched that. So that's one thing that we have going on now for quite a few years.
Awesome.
Then we break down into two sectors, I will say. So one is the agency sector, one will be the tech sector, right? In the agency sector, we have consultancy, which is our primary service, let's say, and we consult tech companies and businesses on, how to scale, how to restructure the debt, how to, set up the teams, how to scale. And then we have marketing, sales, where we do lead generation, we do paid advertisements, etc., right? There's a whole lot of stuff going on. And then the final is the recruitment. So we recruit through our social media reach, which is at this point now probably between 1.5 million and 2 million people across our social media. Then we do outreach in terms of recruiting for tech companies, right? Or exclusively for tech companies. So we find engineers, we find managers, C-level, etc. So if we put that out of the equation now and go to the tech side, well, then we have, we build custom websites, we do custom products also, and then we have our own as well, which is now up and coming. Not in a stage where we promote it, but it will be meant for, let's say, young families and their vacations. Let's put it that way. So there's going to be an app where, you can go and see where you want to go on the weekends where you have no clue where you want to go. So the app will actually tell you what you can do, how much
you need to go here.
That's right.
All right.
That's cool.
So then that's the range, right? So we go from A to Z.
Yeah, and apps are crazy too, man. I've got an app for my company, and man, setting that thing up was a pain in the ass.
You have to be the right partner, man.
And your app developer
right partner.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, man, that thing. We just had a big meeting yesterday, me and my managers, about all the stuff the stuff we put on there originally was cool when we did it, but now it's kind of like, man, it looks kind of wonky. Now we got to redo everything and put in new features.
Yeah, that's the idea behind the app, brother. You gotta pay them motherfuckers another 5 or 6 figures to update it and update it and update it.
No shit.
And I tried to call them fuckers. I tried to call those motherfuckers myself. Let me tell you about Shane's app people, man. Shane and I have nearly the same business model. And I call them up and I get a hold of them and I say, hey, I helped him with a lot of this content that's on the app. A lot of this content is literally stuff that I helped him write or wrote or he wrote or we wrote it together. We did this, we did that. I helped him with this. I helped him with that. My clients do the same thing his clients do. I would like to set the app up and have my own app, but I want to use that framework, blah, blah, blah. These motherfuckers are like, nah, we got to do a whole new app for you. You know how long that conversation went? 2 words. Fuck you. Damn. Fuck you. Like, I already know how difficult an app is, man.
I'll go back to my comment, right? You need a right partner, right? Because one, you need to have a partner where they have a long-term vision, which means like you don't need those updates that Shane mentioned. But 2, more importantly for you, John, is that you build it in a way where you can white label it. White labeling means that
that's what I wanted to do.
The same shit, white label, but your own branding, right?
They wouldn't white label it.
I
would have paid to white label it.
You need the right partner.
I would have paid. It wasn't like I was asking them for free. I said white label it. Shane was willing to white label it back to me.
Sure.
They weren't willing to do the work. They wanted the full fee. Yeah, they wanted the full fee.
If you got somebody that can do that, we'll have to talk afterwards because they get me, man. They get me for $6,000 a year just in maintenance
updates. Just updates.
It's not even that.
Oh my god!
When I call,
when I call them, this is absurd. What the fuck?
That's
like, $6,000 a year just from fucking maintenance. Are you crazy?
That's what I keep asking.
That's my cup of tea. I just I don't know.
Yeah, let's talk afterwards, man. Maybe we move to.
This sounds like fun.
Let's change the subject of this one, Shane, to why those motherfucking app developer motherfuckers suck like a motherfucker. That's what I'm going to call this episode. Fuck those motherfuckers. That's what I'm going to call it. I have a colleague that developed an app that combines fitness training and dog training together and blah, blah, blah. And it was like a beautifully done app. She put a ton of work into it and everything else. And they never told her that every time Apple updates their operating system or every time Android updated their operating system, they have to do the update. That update was running her thousands and thousands and thousands.
I just went through that myself.
Yeah,
my app was like 5 days away from being shut off if I didn't go through this fucking.
Yeah,
but then
that's a sales trick, though. That's a sales trick, right? They will let you on and tell you the last minute, right? And they say, like, if you don't do this, you go out of fucking business.
Yeah.
Now, what I say to those people is like, fuck you. I don't give a shit. I'll do it myself.
One, two,
we really
three,
have to talk
fuck you. I think we might have the record for the most fuck yous in an episode, though.
So far. Yeah. That's only because we deleted my United States pharmaceutical industry episode. But I'm not afraid of those, man. Fuck them.
Yeah, so but I mean, on a serious note, like we sometimes go like on a business model with the client. You know what I mean? So if you have anything that you like, the people and your client can purchase in, we go on a revenue share, which essentially means like you have no upfront cost or maintenance cost in terms of, building this stuff and, maintaining this stuff, and it's a lot cheaper and it's more maintainable and scalable. You know what I mean? So
it seems like the technology changes all the time as well. So you can do that now versus like when my colleague set her app up, it was much different to be able to, there's ad revenue now. There's a lot of other revenue you can make off these things that maybe wasn't available back then.
Definitely. But, they hit you with when you have the right partner, I will say they will help you figure it out, like what else you can do to earn money. Because if my revenue depends on your revenue, then I'll make sure you make as much money possible. So then I get something, right?
Obviously,
But not a lot of agencies are willing to do that, to be honest. But if you're comfortable enough, and say, okay, we know what we're doing and we know how we're going to promote this shit. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do that. You're paying $6,000 a year just for maintenance. Wow, Okay, I think we need to increase our prices. I think.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk. I'll call you when we get done with this because I need it looked at because I can't figure what, but the problem is I can't figure out what the fuck they're charging me for because when the updates happen, they don't fucking do it. I get an email that's might as well be in Slovenia. I don't understand any of it. And I say, okay, you're the app person. You built the app. Here's this thing I got from Google. Fucking do it. Fix it. Earn your fucking $1,500 a quarter, you piece of shit.
I mean, that's the problem, that if you don't have the technology, if you don't have the technological know-how to go in your back end and figure out what are they actually doing, they could say they're doing shit and they don't do shit.
Yeah.
Right? Shane, remember
got
that?
Me. Yeah.
I agree with
that. Yeah. They don't do shit. They say they're doing shit, but they don't do shit. The only way you find out they're not doing shit is when Google says we're going to turn your shit off.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck you. There's 4 more.
All right, we're going into the Guinness World of Records right now.
Yeah, man.
The fucking Guinness Book of World Records.
I'm more than happy to pick this topic up, after we've done
of course,
recording,
we will.
And see what we can do, because I think this is like, I think they're selling your shit, literally. Literally.
Quite possibly. And I hate
being already smelling bad, but you just don't smell it yet.
Right. Well, yeah, it's like, I just come from the era where, it's an honest transaction. Here's my money. Give me the service.
No.
Let's fucking go, But
you should.
I know nowadays not.
I'm in the middle of it.
Look, I'll tell you a quick story, right? Which happens recently, really recently. So I invested in one of, let's just say something, right? It doesn't matter at this stage, but I invested in that asset. Now, the thing was that they had like strings attached, right? But the owner had too much trust into people, right? My first thing was like, don't trust people. People are idiots. They will fuck you over if they can, right? Mm-hmm. So 1 week went by. I kind of tap in, see where we at, right? Nothing happened, but one thing happened. The people she trusted, they bailed, right? They kind of fuck her over. Mm-hmm. Right. And I said, well, what did I told you? Like, you need plan B, plan C, plan whatever. But don't trust people. Like, you should not trust people ever. Like, if he's your best friend, you should not do business with that person. He's your friend.
Oh, yeah.
But if he's your employee or a business partner, well, there's no trust there, right? So it ended up happening, like, we worked for the past 48 hours now to make it happen, like to kind of pull it out of the shit. And we had a meeting last night, in fact, and then we made it through. We pulled through. But I said, like, I hope you learn your lesson. Don't trust anyone in this world, right?
Yeah.
And the same goes for you, Shane. Don't trust these idiots. I don't even know them, but I can say already they're idiots.
Well, it's a live and learn situation. How much does it cost? How much is tuition at business school, and how much are you paying when you get fucked over when you just start your own business? And it might be a zero sum game. You got to learn by.
It's true.
Failure.
I mean, I agree with that part, right?
Well,
I know that you have to go through some bad situations in order to learn something, right?
Yeah.
Now, the only thing you can hope for is like that you didn't lose a whole bunch of money out of that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I learned from
I said when I started off my entrepreneurship, right? One thing that I said is like, I want to work for my clients, right? Which means like if I go and do something for them, I want to be there along the way and make sure that I can support them throughout the process, right? Because that's the thing, right? Most of the people just sell you a service, which means like, pay me, I'll do it, but then fuck off, right? You know, and I don't do those stuff, right? Like, I might charge at times a little bit more than others, right? But then you have me by your side, you know what I mean? Like, if you have a problem, that's my problem, right? Not your problem, my problem, right? If you need to fix something, update something, we'll figure it out together, but not in a way where it will cost you a whole shitload of money just to do it, you know what I mean? So,
well, I've learned that in business. I've learned that, like, okay, you don't charge me enough money, right? You're like, wow, I'm getting a really great deal here. This is awesome, right? But then how many other people do you have to give that same deal to in order for you to make money, right? You're giving that deal to 20 other motherfuckers. And so I'm getting 1/20th of your time, if that, because you're hustling your ass off, collecting off 19 other people, right?
Yeah.
And so
I
I'm
always
getting,
say, like, quality over quantity, right? That's my thing, like quality over quantity. That's what I said. Like, if anybody asks me today, like, I'm not taking new clients, right? I only go with referrals, and I only go with the people that I've spoken to, I know them, or I feel like, okay, we can do something, right? So I have guys in my DMs and emails that is begging like for years already, like, can we do something together or whatever? Well, I don't do that type of stuff, right? Like, you know, they want to go for consulting. They like, you know, they say like the money's not on an object, right? But I said like, well, it is, right? Because I value my time and I'm not giving it to you, right? And you don't have enough money to pay me, right?
Right.
So, you know, it's kind of a thing where you need to value quality over quantity. And I think that not a lot of people goes by that, right? So they rather just have like a quick buck, right? And then move along and find another sucker that will go for that rather than building the relationship because they don't see the value they can bring, right? Like I said earlier, I use, you know, basketball as a tool and a vehicle, which led me to my network and then which led me to my net worth, right? So, you know, and not a lot of people see that the same way, right? But, you know, once you understand that, you'll see that quick buck is nothing compared to happy client. You know what I mean? So.
Yep. True that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
For sure. That.
Well, we did that. I mean, Shane and I have had experiences. I mean, we worked with somebody and it was not going well. And he and I had a talk. I said, well, just think about what he's charging us. And it's not what he was making off of the two of us was not enough to earn an actual living at. So what else does he need to do to earn a living where he's living? And that eventually the economics did not work out. I was like, well, we are not getting anything near the amount of work that he says we're getting. And, you know, unfortunately, the thing is with those things, the thing is with a website, the thing is with internet marketing, you don't know you're getting fucked for 3 or 4 months or $20,000.
Yeah,
right? It costs you $20,000. It ain't like It isn't like you're paying to get fucked and you get fucked and it's over and done with and you're like, wow, thank you very much. We'll see you later. It takes you 4 months to figure out I paid to get fucked and I didn't even get fucked and now I'm really fucked. 4 months.
Oh my God.
4 months and I didn't even get fucked.
Okay. I mean, I got no comment.
Cut that into a short, Shane.
What's that?
I said, cut that motherfucker up into a short.
Oh, well, it's going to be a long fuck. It's going to be a fucking long short.
Fucking fuck you.
Like one highlight or one short could be like just fuck.
Yeah.
Probably for about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to change it to the Fuck Fixer podcast.
Yeah. Well, I used to have a coffee mug that said "fuck you, you fucking fuck."
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
a whole nother level.
Well, yeah. So,
yeah.
You're and now you're out there. You're in your own. You're still in Slovenia. You went back. You're living in, but you're not in your hometown. You grew up in. You're in the city.
No.
Right?
I'm about 40 minutes away from my hometown, which in my country means like you're almost
the other side of the country.
Yeah, like you're on the other side of the country. But I'm not. Like I'm in the same area. Let's say, right? It's the same area. It's the same area code also. But it's 40 minutes away. I don't go back there. I don't like to go back there. The only time I go back there is like when I visit my grandma's grave. That's also the only time my son goes back there. But apart from that, I don't want him to know that this place exists. So
really, all right, wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, I have really
that could be a whole other
about that place. So
okay.
I mean, it's literally like, whether you make it or you don't, right? Like I said, maybe, I don't know if it was your episode the first time around, like it's literally a lot of people went, they end up dead or in a hospitals or whatever the case may be, right? Or no place at all, homeless,
okay,
whatever the case may be. I would say it's the smallest city actually, which should present a lot of opportunities if you ask me. And I think down the line, I think there will be a mayor where the economics will be better. It's just not today, and it's not this year, and it's not next year.
Wow.
So people are still very depressed on that side of the wall.
Where does your business take you outside of Slovenia? Are you traveling for work? Do you go to different parts of Europe?
I actually don't travel as much as someone would thought. I used to, but nowadays, like, even when I consult to businesses, I said like, well, you need to operate in a way where you work on a business, not in a business, right? What that means is like, you don't have to nowadays travel to promote your business and grow it and scale it. But you need to be cautious enough that things are running, right? So nowadays the business doesn't need my attention that much, except for a few exceptions, right? So nowadays it's more like I'm just looking through the next opportunities, basically, like, more on an investment side and on the consulting side. So working with the company, see how I can help them navigate through all the shit they go through. I'm now trying to more focus even on the financial side of the aspect, which is like restructuring the debt, for example, or the whole new financial process for them where they build a new business model maybe out of it, which will have better cash flow. So stuff like that, which is usually online. I don't travel that much. Like I have few across the year, but it's not like it was crazy. I used to travel probably around 250 to 300 days a year. But
in your business, not basketball. This is your business.
No, in my business. Yeah. No, not basketball. Right. Basketball was also crazy, but probably not as crazy as business.
Yeah.
So I have invitations now, like even for already 2025s to go to the States, to go to Australia, be on the seminars, be on events. But I tend to decline those, right? Like I'm not trying to spend more time away from family. I'm trying to be with my family, right? But as long as my kid is 3 years old or like 5, 6, and we're trying to have more kids, and they cannot travel long distance like this, I'm not going to appear on any of those events. Right.
Plus, it's hard to have more kids if you're not home. I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be home to have the, you got to be home to make the kids.
Well, at least when you come home, you get to practice.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you come home and you're surprised.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Yeah.
Dinner's in the oven, not that oven.
No. I mean, but I mean, I'm really nowadays, I'm now working towards my exits, meaning trying to offload off of my chest and keep my stakes in the companies and hand over, and trying to focus on, certain aspects of the game.
I hear you.
Because it is a game at the end of the day.
We can get you out we'll get you out to the U.S. for the Butt Fixer Live when we do it. Not Madison Square Garden, but maybe, maybe the Hilton Garden
maybe Chester's back garden.
Well, I am like in February.
I think that is called Garden Hotel or some shit.
It is.
6 people. Yeah.
Well,
we're gonna go live for all 14 of our YouTube followers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere, right? So.
Yeah, that's it. We got to start somewhere.
We're having fun doing it. We get
right?
to meet cool people like you, and we're learning, how to work YouTube. We're doing this all on the fly as we go. So
it's good time.
The conversations and the people that we're meeting is the best part. Like, just I love sitting there chatting with you. You got a lot to talk about. And it's pretty cool.
So far, everybody we have on, we're like, oh man, we got to get you on for. Well, we always say we want to do a happy hour. You don't drink, so I don't know, but we want to do.
Well, I do drink. Don't get me wrong, I drink, and I drink heavy, but I don't drink beer.
All right, no problem. We'll do. The Butt Fixer Happy Hour is coming.
I won't have a beer, but I'll have my own.
Imagine how many fucks come out at the Happy Hour.
Yeah.
It's called the Happy Fucking Hour.
Are there any distilleries in Slovenia? Like, does Slovenia have its own liquor or anything like that? Or they just import everything?
We have our own beer. It's a really big one. It's called Laško and Union. But then you have a lot of small ones. They do, and they bold
craft breweries and things.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. So, but then you have around here, like in Austria, for example, right? And you have a little bit bigger ones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we had a team building. It was about a year ago, and I took them to one of those places where they craft the beer, right? And we went in, but we never came out.
Yeah, speaking of that, when when we were talking about Iceland, one of the things we did there, we went to a bar and we were like, well, what's Icelandic, so they gave us these little pieces of fermented shark and then this shot to go with it that was I don't know what the fuck it was made out of, but it was not good. It was worse than the shark. But anyways, well, man, Dennis, this has been a lot of fun, dude.
Let me put this up here. This is are these the national beers?
Oh,
Union and Lasco or something,
and
right?
This one, yeah. That's the ones, that's the biggest one.
It seems like everywhere you go in Europe, there's like a national beer. In Portugal,
everyone has it, for sure.
Yeah. And every pub you go to, that's the beer. Like, that's the sign, that's the beer. Every pub. When you say I want a beer, that's what you get, right? You don't have to order it by name. So cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. We'll come out there. We'll do it live. Yeah,
it'll be fun.
We'll rent an apartment for €1,200, €1,200 a month.
Well, you have you probably for the life, you're probably better off having an office, right? It's
I'm gonna look it up.
Much cheaper.
Someday I may hit you up and be like, I'm in Slovakia. Let's go out and have some Lascos.
If you're in Slovakia,
it's the wrong country.
Slovenia.
You're still
Slovenia.
about
I'm in Slovenia.
Kilometers away from me.
I'm in Slovenia. Let's have some Lascos. Let's drink some Unions. And some whiskey.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, guys.
That's awesome. Well,
do you have anything you want to promote? Do you want to give out? You got a website or anything you want to promote, or any social media?
Not really. They can find me on the social media. I don't have anything to promote per se, right?
Okay, that's fine.
like I said,
want to
I'm
give you
not
an opportunity.
actively looking for, anything. I'm just like putting myself out there a little bit more international rather than locally. But that's about it, though.
We'll add it into the description, and I'm gonna hit stop. So thank you, and then stay on here a minute. All right?
Yeah, keep your computer
all right,
open.
man. Thanks,
All
guys.
right, hit it. Just a moment here. I'm gonna hit. Let me find it. Stop.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the Butt Fixer Podcast. Stay tuned for more guests, more stories, and more butt fixes. Make sure you click like, subscribe, and follow at all of the places where you stream podcasts.